my mother was very cold, but I didn't mind it at all, you know. But she was cold. I knew that, you know. She never said "sweet child," and never hug you. And if she got angry, she didn't do any capital punishment, corporal punishment. She'd just call you a lousy kid, you know. And she'd never shout, just in a very voice. Okay. Anyway, so Joe was a very sweet guy. And he was different. And my mother appreciated that tremendously. There was a song, Jim never brings me any pretty flowers. Jim never tries to soothe my lonely hours. That's why I have a torch for Jim. But Joe is, and my mother, in some way I remember her telling me about that. She wanted me to learn that Joe remembered her birthday. He brought her flowers. He did all that stuff, and she appreciated it very much, even though she, personally, to other people, was quite cold. So that's about, and so, okay, so, you know, Joe was, influenced me, not a huge deal, but he influenced me in very modern ways, always. Joe was always, you know, sort of ahead of things. So, and then Joe went to camp. He was, in 1944, I was a camper at Greenwood Camp, something like that. Green Mountain Camp. Joe was a waiter, and I noticed he was a very good sportsman. Baseball, he really hit a long ball, and he joined the Army at that point, and became, as you know, he was a paratrooper, and it took a lot of bravery to do that, or else you might say it took, you know, a death wish, whatever. And interestingly enough, at that time we didn't think much about that question. You know, he was there. Alan was also his tank, etc. Okay, so Joe comes home. It's 1946, something like 45, out of the Army. So the first thing we hear about Bobby is, well, I vaguely remember that he probably knew her before he went in the Army. You probably know better than I about that, okay? But that's unsure. So he came home one day, apparently, I guess, and told my parents that he got this girlfriend, Bobby. And my mother immediately investigated about like everybody, and she found out Bobby's mother ran a beauty shop, as you know, and she didn't approve of that at all. And she thought that Joe could do better, you know. Okay, then they had the family, in those days, maybe it's still today, they had the family first meeting. The girlfriend, you brought the girl, and I was there. I saw it. And they disliked each other. I mean, they weren't shouting at each other. They were very, you know, but they didn't seem to like each other. And Bobby was aware of that very quickly, because I was very friendly with Joe and Bobby when she was his girlfriend after he came out of the Army. They took me a lot of places, and she confided, not that she confided in me personally, but with Joe sometimes, you know, she would talk to me directly, and she said, you know, your mother is impossible, you know, and she doesn't, and your mother doesn't dress in good shoes. Look at the shoes that she walks around in, you know, she's an old, you know, and how, you know, so they didn't like each other. That was the point. And that's that.